But beyond those trees and down in that pit are the Roman ruins. And beyond that on the main drag is my hostel mostel. Here is the Trimontium Princess Hotel. Down there to the right, in between those two buildings, is the main street going down to the bus station. Here a park seems to reach way down through there. And then to my right here is the main street. And it's being wrung out from the flash flood rain we just had. Before we enter the main drag, a pretty building that could be pretty if they bothered to restore it. Presumably the park down there and the statue up on top. Pretty blue color and a pretty building. And a square here with a lovely building. A pretty square. Particularly if you lived around this. Imagine it's pretty expensive real estate. Notice the rocks behind that building portends of something interesting. Just a little bit so I can pick up these buildings on the other side of the square. Branches down with some interesting buildings. We'll look at that in a while. We'll continue right on down this main drag. That one under restoration will be. I'll look at that a little bit closer because it does look very interesting. Spectacular when it's done. Looks darn good just the way it is, even though it's in need of repair. Lovely elm tree, I think it is. What's a good, interesting square without some dinosaur? With its own fountain. I'm sure spring water that you can drink. Cup your hand underneath that spigot and then you drink out of your hand as it's pouring into your hand from the spigot. But we want to take a look at the second building, upper stories. Something like this to my condominium deck area, just to convert it to old building. But relatively in decent condition. And there that big rock behind, what lies up on top? Culture personifies, but if we were in Alaska, it would be Tlingit. Exactly why, don't know. This street is the facade. It says you are here in small type. Is the ancient stadium of Philippolis. Preservation, Rehabilitation, and Urban Renewal Project. Archaeological excavation here of this ancient stadium of Philippolis, however you pronounce it, Philippolis, is what you're going to see in a few moments. Reflects what we'll be able to see right at the moment. And maybe the upper part is just beyond us, another 50 or 60 feet. Road structure might have looked from this site. So let's take a look at it. This is an amazing excavation. I mean, this is in excellent shape and so pretty compared to most that you see that have all been cannibalized by the locals for their buildings in the past 2,000 years. Orientate us to another section over here that we'll get down to look at. So you can get a sense, because I'm not going to change the position of the camera as I rotate, of where these sections relate to each other. Yes, I am looking at the amphitheater. And I'm going to pan about to this next exposed area. This is very beautiful the way they've done it, to incorporate this archaeology right into a main part of the tourist city square is superb thinking. Therefore we'll access down to it, although we could access at another point. We're looking back down the long tourist street, and right about to the left where that lady was standing a few moments ago is where I shot the first picture. So we're looking at the back of the Colosseum. In other words, from the part spectators would enter if they were at the very top. Certainly some CG guy has already, I would assume, rebuilt this whole thing. I applaud the architects for taking that Roman wall and extending it upward and changing the color of the current new sidewalk to reflect the continuation of that wall underneath the sidewalk or through it. The whole city, apparently, the Roman city, up through here, there, blah, blah, blah. Here's where we are right here. We're right in that spot right there, and right in that spot right there. Now, when I turn around, we'll be looking at, I think, some part of this road that went into the Colosseum. In other words, where people would have walked, or where they would have taken wagon loads of supplies or animals or whatever. The original large stones that would have been used and were probably part of the original road, perhaps even left in situ. Elevator for the infirm. I think this is brand new, so we're very fortunate. It will deteriorate rapidly, I suspect.